Red light, green light, red light, green light, red light, green light, red light, green light, red light.
Well, lads and lassies, grab yourself a pint and pull up a chair because it's time for another episode of the Soul Sessions. And with me today is a man who's returning here, but he's not just returning alone. He is technically now the hardest man in Fife himself. Hunter Samson, welcome back to the Soul Sessions. Oh, my friend, it's good to have you back here. So I need to know, obviously, Hunter, you appeared last year pretty much in the same time frame. A whole year has gone by. Many things have happened for yourself, but many things have happened for the world of professional wrestling. So I want to know, Hunter, obviously, from last year to now, how have you developed, my friend?
In a lot of ways, I can't believe it's actually been a year since we last spoke. Seems like I was sitting in this exact spot only a week ago talking to you. Just a fresh-faced young guy, new in the business. But in a year, I've done a lot. I've done a lot of things to talk about. A lot of good, a lot of things that could be better, you know, wins and losses and all that. But I'm sure we'll get to that.
No, absolutely, indeed, my friend. Obviously, you know, the whole year indeed has gone by, and obviously, you know, the place you're mostly associated with, which I've had many people from, formerly FPWA, now PWR as well, and kind of insane to think, obviously, former name to a new name as well, because at the time it was still FPWA. You were on technically the last ever FPWA show of Truth or Dare, then on to Dawn of PWR, which was the next one after that. And, oh, sorry, it was the night at the Wrestling 2, sorry, and then because that's when the name change technically happened. So I want to know, Hunter, when you first heard of the name change, going from FPWA to PWR, and then being on those two shows, did you feel like it was the step up, a new era, things coming for the whole, you know, training facility?
Yeah, it was a total rebrand. I think it kept things fresh. I think it was needed as well because I know it's a play on the name. We had a show called Dawn of Power, but it really did feel like that. It felt like something new. There was a lot of new guys that came into training, debuting, so it really was like the start of something fresh. I felt like there was a shift in the brand anyway, and it just feels right. I mean, it's like a lot of things when you hear like a company's changing names or they're changing a brand, or even like a wrestler changes his name. You sort of don't warm to it for a while. You're just like, I don't know if this name will stick. I don't know if it's catchy enough. But yeah, it really does. It felt new, and it felt like it wasn't like it always used to feel like FPWA, and that was what you used to like roll off your tongue. You've probably had a lot of guests that when referencing the school, they'll say Power Pro, because it was so new. But now it just feels like that's the norm now, and I'm very much a fan of it.
Absolutely. And you mentioned, you know, obviously new names as well. You know, obviously I've had some, obviously from Kate Calloway to obviously to Redfield to Zachary Swift in that time after yourself. Obviously Frank Gallo as well, The Power. Such a whole unique names as well. Everyone's got their own different identity, a different style. And you get like that whole bucket of tricks as well. And obviously for yourself, Hunter, to just see these new faces and new identities and obviously new personas coming into the school and everything. Do you feel like with PWR is really cementing itself as one of the best places to train, not only maybe in just Scotland, but maybe the UK?
Yeah, 100% believe that. I think our level of coaching speaks for itself. Andy Roberts is, I believe, world class. I mean, if you only look at the kind of, he put up, I think it was things that people had sent in from people around the world, like JD Madonna, people like Malachi Black, just like praising Andy Roberts and his work. So, I mean, that speaks for itself. I mean, those are guys that won't just say things for the fun of it. He really is world class. And I literally learn something new every time I'm in there. And I try and add it to my arsenal. I genuinely believe that it's not even just the best school in Fife. It's one of the best in Scotland and the UK, and if not Europe. So yeah, it's a really good place to be. It's always growing, it's building, and it's a really, really good time to be a part of it. Because, you know, with these new shows, we're always expanding, we're always building, we're always bringing bigger and better names in. And I genuinely believe it is only the start. That things will genuinely grow and things will get better. I mean, not that they're not good now, they're brilliant just now, but they will get 100% better, believe me.
No, hey, absolutely, indeed, man. And obviously, you know, the great thing that I see from PWR and people get really excited for is when the seminars are announced with so many great talents from worldwide. And obviously one that I saw being announced and thought was like, that is cool, was the Grizzled Young Veterans, because I believe it was like maybe only a month or something after they departed WWE. And I was just like, wow, immediately go into there. I mean, like, that's insane. So if you attended that session, Hunter, I want to know what was it like, and also just seeing somebody like Grizzled Young Veterans who are so respected, specifically in the British scene, to come and learn and give their knowledge of their time from NXT UK and obviously NXT to PWR. It's got to be very wholesome to know that you're getting that opportunity for great experience.
Thing is, I unfortunately didn't attend that. I was really gutted. I was going to, but I was also working, had work commitments. That's a seminar I would have loved to attend. They're also like one of the best tag teams in the world. Individually, two of the best guys in the world, but as a tag team, second to none. It was actually the first seminar that I'd missed from us, because I'd been to everyone else. And I was really gutted about that, because it's two guys I really wanted to learn from. They've been everywhere, WWE, TNA, all over Europe and America, a wealth of knowledge. And anytime I speak to anyone that attended that seminar, they just said that it was just like next level. But so selfishly and personally, gutted to have missed it.
You know, there's always great opportunities to come, because you'll always get new sessions and seminars with some new greats as well, and that's really exciting to see as well. And obviously, you know, Andy Roberts is one of the big honchos there as well. But obviously, one that I had on the show and retired last year as well was Johnny Lyons. Phenomenal guy in himself, and to see his final match as well was a very wholesome experience as well. And I wonder from yourself, Hunter, you know, I saw obviously everyone came out in the ring and, you know, celebrated with Johnny. I know Andy gave a big speech as well. To see what Johnny did and how he's obviously achieved and ended his career through PWR, just want to know what it means to you to see him, you know, go out and just be celebrated.
Yeah, he's a bit of a local legend, as Johnny Lyons. I was there kind of the tail end of, you know, him in ring and seeing him actually perform, which is a shame. But I was there to be coached by him, a lot of sessions, always learning stuff from him. I love the guy to bits. I mean, he's just a likable guy. I mean, I don't think I've heard anyone say a bad word about him. And it's always hilarious when you're in his company, whether it's socializing or being coached by him, because he's just like a ball of energy, and you can see he's got so much passion for this, and he wants to give back. I mean, I think he's solely focused on the juniors now, takes the wee wrestlers that we run on a Wednesday. And I think he just wants to give back what he's learned to the younger generation coming through. And you can see that in their training.
Absolutely. You know, I see on the Instagram as well, and just that very wholesome environment, obviously with the wee wrestlers as well, the real sense of community building upon for the next generation, and obviously the generation we have just now of, you know, that, you know, IWC, they may say wrestling as a battleground, but I think from there you can see that it's a very wholesome and family fun event. And that's what, you know, professional wrestling is at the end of the day. And obviously with PWR itself, you yourself had a bit of a feud with former hardest man in Fife, obviously, Tommy Kartel. So I need to know as well, facing the former hardest man in Fife, I got to know, Tommy, where did he go wrong that he ended up losing his so-proclaimed title?
He went wrong because he dropped the ball, and he just got too arrogant, didn't he? I mean, he likes to toot his own horn a lot. You were there when we had the street fight, first ever leaving street fight at Truth nightclub. It was we brawled all around that venue. There was no stone left unturned, and he blindsided me. Fair play to him though. He got the win. He did what he had to do with the old pool ball and a sock gimmick. Wrapped it around my noggin, and I was out cold. Not much you can do about that. It doesn't matter how big you are and what your background is. You get hit by a pool ball, it's game over and it's lights out. And I can testify to that. Testify Devon. Little shout out to Devon Dudley.
Hey, we all love a bit of Devon Dudley representation here. But obviously, you know,
never thought I'd be doing that today. Never thought I'd be shouting out Devon Dudley. So there we go.
I mean, who knows, if he still has that TNA Legends title somewhere, maybe you can try and take that and actually dethrone him properly.
Exactly, yeah.
But obviously, you know, he did get the better view of that one. But obviously, Daisy Jenkins, when ended up becoming the next hardest person in Fife, she would sadly lose that title, obviously. But then you would come in and take it off and proclaim it as your own. You were technically now the third in the lineage of the hardest man in Fife. So I got to know, Hunter, knowing to have that accolade under your belt, where do you want to take that representation, that prestige into the future of PWR?
Oh, I don't take it for granted. It's one of those things where I actually hold it as important as a championship or a title. You know, it's a tip of the cap to someone. It's, you know, you're the hardest person in Fife. You've got to back that up. So in the next few shows, you know, I actually want to bring out matches that haven't been done before in a while. I want to bring out old school matches. I want to just, you know, there's certain matches that I've seen in the archives and I've watched recently that I think, you know what, we could do that. Not a lot of companies, if any, are doing that now. So I've got a few in my back pocket that if anyone wants to be bold enough and step up, they'll see it. They'll see it.
Whoa, Hunter! You're not going to pull out some Alf No Big Boss Man Kennel and Hell match, are you? I mean, come on now. We can't be bringing out that kind of craziness.
Now you mention it, I'm going to add that to the list.
Oh, damn it! Someone get the RSPCA involved. God damn it!
These matches, let's just say, aren't fun for the opponent of me, whoever's in the ring with me. So.
All I'm saying, if I end up seeing ladders, chairs, and tables being pulled out, I'm gonna end up being like,
and then some, and then some. Listen, I don't just say expect carnage as like a cool tagline. I literally mean that. Expect carnage. Like I said it in the promo for the next Power Pro show. There's always fireworks when I'm around. 100% believe that. Everyone seems to want a piece of me. I don't know if it's just little guy syndrome from people. You know, they want to take out the biggest guy in the room. You know. But that's on them. You know, if I want to live rent free in people's heads, that's fine.
Hey, live rent free.
I'm not going to mention a certain person's name here, but there's a certain that's been digging at me recently that I've just been living rent free in their head. You want to say their name? You know, because I don't want to give the guy, you know, any more of an ego than he already has.
Well, Hunter, I know egos are things indeed, and obviously, you know, I'll not bless this person's names. You are the guest, and I respect the guests. The guests are always first and centered on this show, so I will always make sure that person's name, wherever they were, redacted, will not be mentioned. We are highlighting you, my friend, and if they want to live rent-free in their mind, they can do. Who knows? Maybe they get a bit of brain rot, and you never know what will happen. But
they've maybe got brain rot anyway, because let's just say on the last show, I basically powerbombed him through the mat. And it's left a bitter taste in his mouth ever since. So let's just leave it at that, shall we?
I think we shall do indeed, brother. How about we move on to something quite historic as well? PWR having its inaugural champion, the man himself, Frank Gallo. You know, a man who really has that connection. If I had to describe, I've had Frank on, and it was one of the most interesting experiences.
I watched it.
Oh, God, man. I was like trying to catch up with somebody. I'm playing chess, he's playing checkers, and then a bit of Connect 4 comes in, and a bit of Twister as well, just to put me on my extra toes. I mean, fair play to that.
He turned the questions round on you. You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I was not. Good, googly move. But you know what? With Frank, he is respected. Yeah. He's loved. He's loved. Obviously, he had that match with James Ellis that was something. I remember I had James on. He was like, "What the hell were the rules?" I don't know. It was like changing every 20 seconds. But obviously, he won and now has the prestige of being the inaugural champion for PWR. Two things I want to ask you, Hunter, is obviously, first of all, PWR having its first championship belt introduced. What does that mean for you? So obviously, somebody being there, training and building up the school, and to know that there's a championship that everybody can chase. And second, Frank getting that, you know, respect and recognition for what he has truly loved as a great individual, to get that moment of being an inaugural champion for PWR.
Oh yeah, 100%. Introducing the heavyweight title was massive. I'd be lying if I would say it's not something I'm desperate to have. Just a heavyweight champion of anything is cool in its own right. I mean, I like Frank. I like him, but you know, if it ever comes down to it and we're ever in the ring together, I can't be held responsible for what would happen to him, and if that title gets taken off him, they're ripped away from him, per se. That's something I've definitely got my eyes on. You know, let's just keep your eyes open in the next few months, see what happens. But in terms of introducing championship belts for a company, it's massive. And I mean, you've saw the belt yourself, lovely looking belt. We discussed our favorite championship belts, I think, on the last one. Mm-hmm. This could be up there with one of them. We just actually introduced the tag titles on Instagram. I don't know if you've seen that recently. They're
Oh.
lovely. If anyone wants to be my tag partner, I'll happily chase those bad boys because they look cool AF. So yeah.
Well, I mean, Hunter, we could tag together, but I feel like it would be more of a you're Braun Strowman, I'm Nicholas situation, and it's not going to go.
I'll throw you at them. You know, you want to stand in the corner? I'll throw you. You can cannonball them.
This is a very pristine suit, my friend. I cannot afford this to get ripped. There's only one copy of it.
Also, can't be held accountable if you will rip that suit, but you probably will. So maybe don't wear it. Maybe get you some good gear.
Me in tights is no sight. I don't think anyone really wants to see, brother.
Spandex, like Mr. Motivator style.
I'll be looking like Michael Cole at Mania. I don't think anybody wants that.
You would suit that with the little, the head garment on. Coal miner. You can be the coal miner.
Oh, Lord.
Soul miner. There's a tagline, the soul miner.
Trademark the Soul Sessions 2024, bud.
You just leave it to me. I'll market you. Leave it to me.
Oh, God. Obviously, you do mention, tag titles are coming to PWR, and there's so many great teams being involved, from the PAR to the Meat Factory to KOE, which are currently the ICW Tag Team Champions at the moment. With, obviously, those tag titles being introduced, there are a lot of great tag teams here throughout the entire UK. Obviously, Grizzled Young Veterans we mentioned, Subculture, many others in progress in Rev Pro. I got to know, Hunter, obviously, I want to know who do you think might actually win these championships to begin with, and if so, what other tag teams would you love to see come into PWR to challenge for them?
I can't rule out any tag team in that tournament. They're all 100%. In terms of who I think might win it, got to go. Yeah, let's talk from the heart here. Got to go with my Meat Boys, Meat Factory. Say they're in for a shoe-in. A couple of big guys like myself, throwing guys around the ring. I think it's their time. Meat Factory. Yeah, I'll go with them. In terms of tag teams, I think you just mentioned a tag team there. I think Subculture would be a brilliant one. I know they done maybe a couple of shows in Scotland recently. I think, yeah, even Lycos Jim would be brilliant. Lycos Jim. I mean, get Talon Jr. a tag partner, and we just watch them rip the place apart. Who else? Damo and Axel from Progress. Sanity, yes. We talked about Sanity last time, so I would love to get a tag team partner and go on with those guys. Bucket list stuff right there.
Oh, man. That is something, man, indeed. Obviously, I got to ask, with Sanity, because I was quite surprised that they were able to use the name. Like, I thought WWE would have had that stuff trademarked in the vaults where, all the back stuff, but now they're using the name as well, and obviously Damo and Axel are the Progress Tag Team Champions. They won them in the States during Mania weekend of 39. Or was it 40? It's 40. God, the time's flying by. Workhead. Just to know that, WWE trademarks aren't lock and key as they were. Obviously, Adam Copeland debuted Radar Superstar, and The Brood is in AEW at the moment. Oh, yeah. Is there maybe some other historical WWE trademarks you want to see maybe come back?
Hell in a Cell match.
Oh, let that.
I know they've trademarked the name Hell in a Cell. You can't use that. But I would love to do a Hell in a Cell match. So yeah, Hell in a Cell. Let's go with that one. Throw someone off it, choke someone off it, like Undertaker to Rikishi.
The good times indeed, Hunter. The good times indeed. But obviously, WWE in Scotland have got a little thing going on, because literally in a week now, it'll be Clash of the Castle. Hooray! Bad news. Ticket prices. Jesus.
Yeah,
we've discussed it privately about the whole ticket thing as well, but I want to know from yourself, when you first saw those ticket prices, you must have thought, yeah, come on, mate.
Yeah, I mean, me and my friends were planning on going, because we were actually at the last Clash at the Castle in Wales, and it was brilliant the whole weekend down there. Cardiff was like Magaluf Strip or something, but just of wrestling fans. There was Hulk Hogan, people dressed as Hulk Hogan, and Macho Man throwing people through tables, chairs, and all that. So I can't imagine what Glasgow's going to be like. But the ticket prices, yeah, I think it was off-putting for a lot of people. It certainly kind of was the only reason that I'm not going. I mean, some of those ticket prices were up to $1,000. And then there was the combo deal with SmackDown, and you had to kind of take, you couldn't just get a ticket for Clash on its own at the start. It was, you've got to get SmackDown, you've got to get a package deal as well. And if you're not from Glasgow, you've got to add in travel, you've got to add in, where you're staying, hotel prices and things like that. And if they know the WWE's in town, or any kind of events in town, they'll shoot the prices right up at hotels, and so I mean, I've experienced it before. Right outside the Hydro was the Marriott, and I can't imagine what their prices will be.
No, God, I imagine that'd be extortionate as well. I mean, just that whole thing, it was really puzzling. I mean, I've seen people online debate that this makes them really fearful for when WrestleMania eventually does come to the UK.
Yeah.
Do you think that will be the same? Do you think that WWE are going to know that there's going to be a high demand and they will try and, screw over the UK fans with high ticket prices again for Mania?
I mean, I don't know if it's just a case of, so when I was at Clash a couple of years ago, the Principality Stadium was 62,000 people. And I don't know if the Hydro, is even half that. So they might have hugged the ticket prices up to try and, level out the profit. I don't know. I can't see them intentionally trying to screw over fans or anything like that. I think it's just them maybe trying to, break even or make a profit from that. But yeah, it's just a shame because we were planning on going, so it's just annoying.
I mean, hopefully, there's maybe like a day before cut sale, because literally all the floor seats are still available for Clash. Yeah. So hopefully they cut those bloody prices and people are able to actually get in and enjoy it as well. Because obviously the card is pretty much taking shape now. Obviously we've got Chad Gable versus Sami Zayn for the IC, AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes 2 in an I Quit match, the Unholy Union versus Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, and Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks in a triple threat for the women tag belts. Then we also have Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. And also Piper Niven as well versus Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship. I'm surprised I remember that off my head. Good God.
Good going.
I know, God, I actually am a bit of a professional at this job.
There you go, man. There you go. Getting used to it.
I know, exactly. That year has built my character up. But obviously, when you see that card, Hunter, and see the Scottish representation, especially with obviously the Unholy Union, Piper Niven, and Drew, does it really show that the Scottish scene has these amazing stars that are just waiting in the wing to get an opportunity like these guys on a grand stage, like obviously the WWE?
100%. A Scottish heavy card's only a good thing for any kind of UK show. Me personally, it's a massive draw for me. Like having Drew on it, like you're saying, Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, Piper Niven. They've all kind of made their name in WWE now in the main roster. And they're getting this time on like a live event to show, and it's paying off. But even guys in NXT and things like that, like Gallus, they're just waiting in the wings to come up, to be called up. Noam Dar. Noam Dar's been there for about, how long? 10 years? 10 years or over?
Yeah.
He's getting a little bit of a push now on the title scene and stuff. So we produce the talent. It's there. I mean, you can see it as well. People that you interview, on the UK scene, the Scottish scene, Scotland is heavy with talent, and I don't think we'll be short of it because we're all crazy. We love wrestling, and I think there'll be more. I mean, look at NXT UK. That was also Scottish heavy as well. You had Gallus at the time, Kenny Williams, Noam Dar was on the roster. So yeah. There's a new crop just waiting to be signed up as well, I think. And people talk about the boom of British wrestling, 2015 kind of thing. I think there's something in the last year or two that's kind of been brewing and it's about to explode. I can kind of feel it.
No, hey man, absolutely as well. It's like new companies are starting up. There's a lot of crossover happening as well, and you just see so many things booming for wrestling as well. And it just shows that a year can be so much time and so many things can happen quickly, because obviously when we first talked, a little show called AEW Collision was pretty much just aired,
so
featuring a little man called CM Punk. So Hunter, CM Punk, what do we think? That whole year crusade, holy shit.
It doesn't feel like a year, like I was saying. It feels like yesterday that we spoke, but yeah, it was literally, I think it was the day after, I think he debuted on Collision. that we spoke and we were talking about it. And I think he was in the ring was he with the Revival at the time?
Yeah,
The Revival. I think he was tagging with them in like a 6-man or something like that. But I don't know. I've always been a CM Punk guy. I've always been a fan. I mean, obviously now, the whole thing with Drew, I'm kind of, you've got to side with Drew. Drew's the Scottish guy. He's our boy. We can't go against Drew McIntyre. But let's say before that, I've always kind of been like a Punk fan and stuff, heavily tattooed guy, kind of drawn to the other heavily tattooed guys in the biz. So the alternative scene, so to speak.
No, indeed as well. And I think Punk's whole journey from last year to now has been absolutely bonkers, to say the least. Starts on Collision, introduces the Real World Championship to AEW, has a match against Samoa Joe in the Owen Hart tournament, has a rematch at All In, chokes out Jack Perry, flinches at Tony Khan, then gets fired from AEW, then re-debuts at Survivor Series, goes on a whole chatting raid with Cody Rhodes, helping him build his story, goes to the Rumble, gets injured by McIntyre, costs Drew his championship at WrestleMania 40. Now he's actively spitting and throwing Kendrick Lamar lyrics on Raw, and now everyone's shitting themselves that he's going to cost Drew the title in his home country.
I don't know if CM Punk will be in Glasgow. What do you think? I don't know if he'll be there.
If Drew McIntyre comes out in like a Rangers top and nearly gets his match, and then we see CM Punk come out in a Celtic top, that's going to cause some warfare right now. I think Glasgow will go on fire.
I tell you what, there'll be some divide if CM Punk comes out in a Celtic top, I tell you that. But, I mean, with everything you've just said there in the last year, there's no doubt that, love him or hate him, he's a draw. He's a massive draw for any company he goes to. The pop when he came out at Survivor Series last year in Chicago, like I sometimes just stick that on just to get the kind of goosebump feeling. It actually superseded the EW pop that he got when he came back. No one expected that. No one expected him to come back to WWE. I mean, everyone just thought that bridge was burned, but there he was, and as he says, in living color. So yeah, hell did freeze over.
Oh, it bloody did indeed. I mean, like that picture of him and Triple H pointing to each other was just absolute insanity to see, because it's somebody nobody would ever have thought we would ever get that kind of reunion between two stars. And obviously, AEW, some will say a little suffered. It's not as it was. Obviously viewership has gone down. Things are not as happy with fans. There's not a lot of energy and buzz around the company. And obviously there was that thing they did on Dynamite where they actually bloody aired the all-in backstage footage with Punk and Jack Perry.
That was a mistake. I didn't agree with that. I didn't like it. You just saw Tony Schiavone's reaction after it, just head down, just like what he's doing. Like, I mean, if that's how low you're going to stoop to try and get ratings and try and compete with the WWE, then it's not the right way about it, because, airing that footage right after CM Punk talks about it, and to be honest, CM Punk didn't really tell any lies about how it went down. That's literally how it did go down. So them airing that footage is just shooting themselves in the foot. Like, it I didn't understand it. I just thought it was a dick move, so to speak.
No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, when it's just basically agreeing with Punk's point, and there's no like, the gotcha moment, which some people were probably expecting, and it's like, well, you've just basically proved his points, and there's nothing's been proven or new light shown on it. I got to know, Hunter, when AEW does stuff like that, and Tony Khan does his little tweets at 2 a.m., which is like, oh, okay, he's doing something crazy now, or you hear things about the company. As a wrestler, does it really put you off, going to AEW? Does it feel like, oh, it could be a fun place, but when you hear all this stuff and see the tactics they do, does it really put you off the company?
They literally had the two biggest stars in the world, and they had Cody Rhodes and they had CM Punk, and they lost them both. So I mean, they just seem to keep shooting themselves in the foot, and I don't know if Tony Khan is the right kind of guy to be leading the company. He seems like he's more of a fan than he is like a leader. Whereas, I mean, look at the WWE. Like, you got Triple H now who's in charge, and I don't think, he will always be business first. Even to coin a phrase from 10 years ago, best for business. I think he knows the product. He knows what people want. He was active in the business for however long as a wrestler as well. I mean, you just saw what he'd done with NXT when he was leading NXT, and now it's Shawn Michaels. And it's also crazy that DX are now basically running the company. You ever thought about that? Like, as much as like they were the anti-establishment in the 90s, the Attitude Era, DX now run WWE, so it's proper full circle.
No,
But yeah, I mean, in terms of like putting people off going to AEW or anything, I think if I had the choice, I think there'd only be kind of one answer for me. Not even just because Triple H was like a hero growing up, but yeah, I think that's most people's goal these days. I mean, AEW did have the buzz around it when it first started, lost a few good stars, and just the way they handled this, the backstage thing recently, it's kind of buried them for me, to be honest.
Right. Fair play indeed. Wrestling's a pick and mix. You get what you like and what you don't like, and then if someone's spoiling the pick and mix, then it's definitely going to put you off to what they create. Also, you mentioned Triple H. I remember last time you mentioned him being such an idol to you, and now he's literally the guy running the ship. He is doing all this. You see him at the press conference with his little specs on, his little sheet of paper, and it's like, oh, look at him, he's grown up.
Just looks like someone's dad.
He does. It's like, oh shit, my dad's running the company. Holy shit! And it's like, well, fair play. You see him at the press conferences. You see him always like, it seems like every show breaking records, doing great live shows, going to new countries as well. Like this year, obviously we got Scotland at Clash. They got Canada for Money in the Bank. They're going to Berlin as well for Bash in Berlin. It's absolutely exceptional. I want to know, Hunter, say obviously 10 years down the line with Triple H, do you think he might be remembered more for his running of WWE than his in-ring career?
I think it'll be a healthy mix of both. I don't think you can take anything away from what he done in ring. He was such a massive character, even through the Attitude Era, even through the Ruthless Aggression Era and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
He basically headed Evolution, who are in the the Hall of Fame and stuff like that. So, I mean, he basically ran two of the greatest factions of all time when he was in ring, and in terms of his in ring work being shadowed by being the boss of the company, I think it'll be a healthy 50-50 mix. I think he'll be remembered for both. And I think he'll, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if he will actually. I was going to say he might supersede the old Vinnie Mac, but who knows what can happen. Because in the past few months, literally anything can change on a dime. So I don't want to speak too soon. I will say his direction and the way he runs things, and just his creative vision is definitely more what I enjoy watching, and definitely my style. Because there was a period of time where he had where Vince was kind of back in the scene, and the quality kind of dipped, and it was highs and lows. But now it's fully Triple H, and I mean they're going to that crowd at Lyon, France. I mean, I don't know if you watched it, but that's what everyone kind of wants. That's if you're in the ring and you're performing, to be in front of that crowd, that's what you want. And I think it's because of him having that vision and being like we're going to branch out to Europe, we're going to go to these places, we're going to go to Australia and do live events and things like that. And I don't know if they would have went to Lyon, France, and done a premier live event with it being under Vince. I think it's because of Triple H. They're going out there, they're performing that way, and yeah, I mean those are the events you want to be a part of, man. I mean, I remember watching it, having goosebumps. They were popping for this, a punch or a stomp. The crowd was going crazy, like someone just hit a Canadian Destroyer off the top rope through a table, but it was literally someone just got chopped. So yeah, if that can be the same crowd at Clash at the Castle next week, I'll be happy. So Scotland better bring it. Glasgow better bring it.
I hope so. I'll probably try and feed everybody a bottle of Bucky just to make sure we get that energy levels up and yes, let's go. Come on, let's actually show up.
Are you going?
Yeah, yes. I'm going.
You still bankrupt from the ticket prices?
Oh, fuck yeah, I'm bankrupt. There, shit.
There you go, man. There you go. You have an experience.
It'll be worth it. I'm right next to the entrance ramp, so I mean,
you're gonna riot if Drew loses.
Oh hell yeah! I'll have a pitchfork and everything ready in my backpack.
You've been the front line. I can see you now.
Right, lads. Let's CM Punk. Get him.
Grabbing the Claymore.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll pull on some Jordans as well, just so I can rub it in CM Punk's face and super.
Who knows? If the main event is Damian Priest against Drew McIntyre, if Judgment Day get involved, who's to say that, you know, Drew might have some backup in the form of, I don't know, Gallus or something like that. 3 Glasgow boys. So you never know what can happen. It's a Scottish heavy card, so why not?
I mean, it definitely is indeed. And obviously, you know, something more interesting could happen. So we've seen with NXT having a little crossover with TNA for Jordan Grace. Maybe if we say somebody's particular name, Mr. Joe Hendry could show up and really save the day.
Yeah, that's it. And then everyone can believe in him. Just like the Sharks did.
Oh, right. We got to talk about that. Joe Hendry obviously getting his theme in the charts as well. It was like they played only 15 seconds of it on the BBC radio, which was, you know, cheeky buggers yourself.
Fair play. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you've got it, put it out there. And he manifested it. He said he was going to do it. So I don't know if he can knock old Taylor Swift off the top, but there you go.
I mean, if we ever see Joe Hendry perform his theme in Murrayfield Stadium for 3 consecutive nights, I think we know we've made it, and we're like, yeah, this is the.
I mean, speaking of Murrayfield and speaking of Clash at the Castle, I don't know if maybe WWE should have had it there. Edinburgh's literally got a castle, so, and it's just an open air stadium event. It's big enough. It's similar to the Principality in Wales. It could have definitely done it. It would have definitely sold out.
I know.
So,
I mean,
and it would have been easier to get to, just a wee train across the bridge. So.
Yeah, it's literally a 5-minute walk for me, so I would have been absolutely delighted. None else, but
exactly. When it got announced, I was thinking that's got to be Murrayfield. It's got to be in Edinburgh. It's got a castle, but you know, Hydro's
you win some, you lose some, Hunter, and it is what it is at the end of the day. But obviously, yourself as well. You know, PWR really is your home and your place of learning, but you've branched out into other things. You know, obviously Pro 2 and Fair City Wrestling you've done, and many other places yourself. That venturing out, obviously, you've had great opportunities in Pro 2 and elsewhere. I want to know, from that journey of venturing out and making a name for yourself elsewhere, obviously within Scotland and the UK itself, that journey and how you've developed over the year, how do you feel like you've approached that journey?
I think it's been beneficial. Being thrown into those pressure environments is pivotal. You know, I've had number 1 contendership fatal 4-way matches. I've had title matches with Pro 2. Fair play. I didn't come up trumps in any of them. But, you know, just being in that, you know, title match, to say that you've fought for a title and being trusted by a company to be put in that position is class. I hope many more come. I selfishly would love to have a championship. I know it's not always about, you know, winning belts and stuff, but that picture looks cool as fuck, doesn't it? You know, if you're standing there, you got a belt or 2, you know, you got 1 around your waist, you got 2 around your shoulder, you're just standing like that. You just look like the man. So I'd be selfish to say that, you know, another title match down the line, I would love that. Doesn't matter which company it's in, whether even if it's us against Frank Gallo, whether it's Pro 2 again, to right the wrongs, with Charles Borrington hitting me over the head with a briefcase, whether it's FCW. I would love to go 1-on-1 with Dickie Divers and challenge for that FCW heavyweight title. I was this close in the number 1 contendership fatal 4-way. There was me, ADM, Caleb Valhalla, and Bruiser Brad. That was ridiculous to have that level of meat in the one ring. They had to certainly tighten the ratchets for that one. I was sore for days after that. It was probably the heaviest big man Tower of Doom ever. I mean, I don't know if you saw the footage, but the ring nearly broke. I certainly felt that way from under my feet. Bruiser Brad, a guy that picks me up like a feather, and not a lot of people pick me up, you know, or certainly not without a struggle. But, you know, I don't know if you've seen anything about Bruiser Brad on Instagram or anything. Member of Foundations of the Future. He is a hoss. You see his training, what he's squatting, what he's benching. You know, he picked me up like a feather and he slammed me into the mat multiple times. And it doesn't happen to me a lot. Caleb Valhalla, another strong boy. You know, he was chopping the living shit out of me. And ADM as well, who I wrestled in March for FCW with Caleb as a special ref. Just master of the mind games, that guy, you know, but somehow overcame it, somehow got the win. So, yeah, more of these opportunities, more of these guys in the Scottish scene, more big names. I want to branch out and to do more things in England, Ireland, even in Europe. I want to be everywhere. I really want to go head first into things, challenging for championships anywhere I can. Just, you know, being this size, being this big, and not challenging for a heavyweight title, you know, can't be doing that.
Fair play indeed, my friend. Obviously, and there's many great companies. Obviously, here in Scotland, you've got places like Community Pro Wrestling, Attitude Pro Wrestling, Discovery Wrestling, Bleeding Gums Wrestling. Ireland, you've got OTT. Wales, No Mercy, New Wave Academy, and then you've got obviously, you know, England. You've got the likes of Progress and Rev Pro. I want to know from yourself, Hunter. Obviously, I'm sure you'd be happy to go anywhere and get any opportunity to, you know, kick arse and take names. But is there any particular company in your mind that really sticks out of somewhere you really want to go and make your name?
In terms of right now in Scotland, I would love Discovery would be one. Discovery Wrestling, 100%. I would love to go ICW. Always loved ICW. I think I would thrive. I mean, the first word in that's insane. And I think that's something that gets brought out of me anytime I'm in that ring. You know, you've not seen a lot of the things that I can do or want to do. And I think under the ICW spotlight, that hardcore style, I don't know if it's Bleeding Gums deathmatch worthy yet, but, you know, never say never. You know, it might come to the time where, you know, I might want to dip my toes in that. In terms of England and stuff like that, I would love to, companies like Progress, Rev Pro, these are all companies that, you know, I see online that I've watched for years, and they've just got a lineage behind them. I mean, all these big names have, you know, they've been through those doors before they've been to either TNA, WWE. You know, they passed through Rev Pro, they passed through Progress, they passed through ICW, Discovery. So I'd be lying to say if I didn't want to follow in those footsteps. You know, that's the blueprint. You know, you want to go these places, you know, you have to walk those steps.
Right. Absolutely. And walking those steps and climbing up them to actually achieve your goals is a really monumental journey to go through. Obviously, you mentioned ICW there. Obviously, ICW has gone through a lot of changes very recently. Obviously, Fight Clubs has ended. They've gone to a new kind of pay-per-view model, and people have left the management side and new faces are being in place. And it feels like a very different but fresh and new ICW with how they're presenting themselves. I want to know, Hunter, say if you got that opportunity, say you got to face Jack Jester and you got to dethrone Jester for the ICW World Heavyweight Championship, and you are now the face representing this new era of ICW, what sort of things would you love to bring to ICW in the new Hunter era?
The Hunter era, it's got a ring to it. It's got a ring to it. I like that. Thanks for that. That's you can market that one. I mean, we dipped our toes there and we talked about it. So, you know, me against Jack Jester, King of Insanity, would just be carnage. I think it would be. I mean, it'd be lying to say if I didn't want that match. A kind of, you know, a wee bucket list Scottish wrestling match. Jester being one of my old coaches at GPWA as well. It would be a kind of full circle moment for me. I think he was the coach that was there in my first ever day of beginners. He was the one that, you know, took my name, took all my info on a sheet, you know. Like when I didn't know anything. So he was the guy that was there and he took most of my sessions as well. So it'd be lying to say if that wasn't a match I'd want. But yeah, I think we talked about it earlier. Any kind of championship belt around my shoulder or waist would just look cool. But yeah, we talked about it earlier as well. So I would like to bring different matches, and you know, Jester's got King of Insanity and stuff like that. That's kind of like his match that he's doing. I want to bring back matches that I would kind of do and market as my own. And that Hunter era, as you say, you know, let's bring back, you know, Iron Man matches. I Quit matches, Last Man Standing. You know, I want to be synonymous with these kind of matches. Ladder matches. I recently watched from, I think it was WrestleMania. Was it WrestleMania 10? Was it Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon?
Yeah.
For the IC title. And it's got that cool image of Razor at the top with the two belts. Would love to have a ladder match for two belts and just recreate that iconic pose of Razor when he's holding them out.
Ooh.
That would be it.
You could sell so many 8x10s.
I could also fall off it and make an absolute arse of myself. So, you know, I'm trying to create a cool moment and in typical me fashion, faceplant it.
Come on, you're not going to be on Botchamania. You'll be fine.
So I'd love to do Botchamania one day. You've got to do everything once. And Botchamania, that's another bucket list thing.
Botchamania bucket list.
Might already be on it. I don't watch it a lot. Might already be on it. I'd have to look.
Oh, you never know what surprises might show up there. But obviously, you mentioned the Razor Ramon iconic imagery of the 2 belts on the ladder match. But obviously, here it would be under a Scottish banner, maybe a UK banner. So I want to know, Hunter, say you got that opportunity, what 2 belts would you want on the line for your Razor Ramon moment in a ladder match? What 2 belts would you want at either side that you could sell on hundreds and hundreds of 8x10s?
Are we talking like UK scene, or are we talking like
UK? Let's keep it
realistic. Power Pro heavyweight title, definitely on one of them.
Okay.
That's my school. That's where I cut my teeth. That's my home, basically. So the Power Pro heavyweight title would be one. That'd be on the right arm. The left arm, we talked about it before. Let's go ICW heavyweight title. That would be because I kind of grew up with Scottish wrestling, and I used to go to ICW events and stuff like that. I'm talking about full circle moments. That would be definitely one of them. I'd be lying to say if that's not one I would have on my bucket list.
Oh,
whether that happens or not, it remains to be seen. But anything can and will happen.
Hunter, if we've learned anything by the last year, literally any bloody thing can happen. I mean, I just hope that when that does happen, you come right back here for the first exclusive interview with the double champ. That's all.
Next year. So we'll do it every year. We'll do it around this time every year. So let's have that story to tell for next year.
I like it. That's the perfect way to do this, my friend, as well. But obviously, PWR introducing their own championship is very historic. But obviously, they did have another championship. Andy Roberts had the UEWA heavyweight championship for the longest time. Obviously, dependent on formerly FPWA shows. He ended up losing that belt to, I believe, a Robert Starr in Valor. Now, obviously, that championship is now going on to do its own thing. But I want to know, Hunter, say you could bring that belt back to PWR and have it showcased on PWR shows. How would that make you feel? Obviously, you have Andy Roberts' former belt now around your waist. Would it be like a hey, I've done it situation, and would you give Andy Roberts a match for it?
It would be full respect. It would only be right to give him the chance to win that back from me. Under the Truth nightclub lights, main event, 100%, that would be it. That's the first thing I would do. The first title defense would be Andy Roberts, because he held it, 1,000 days?
Oh, a long time.
Legendary reign of that title. So it would only be fitting to let the coach man, challenge for it once again.
Gotta let the boy have a chance, indeed. Yeah. Obviously, because you're building your name, and most importantly, obviously wrestlers, we're building a brand as well. And I know you have your own cheeky wee shirts sold as well. Which congratulations! We got it.
There we go.
There we go. That's what we like to see.
There we go.
I gotta know.
Don't come like that. I cut this one myself. They don't come like that. A little bit of the old school Godzilla design, because I'm absolutely massive. So yeah.
See, arts and crafts, indeed, buddy. You've cut that perfectly. Symmetry, my friend, dear friend. Indeed, it is symmetry. But
wasn't without blood, sweat, and tears. I tell you, getting that right, getting these lines right.
You've done it, son. As well, love to see. But obviously, building your own brand and now getting merch out there as well. That I can imagine for a wrestler, that must feel like the next step of your evolution as a wrestler, getting your own brand and identity out there with obviously merch, right?
Yeah, 100%. I want to be bringing out more T-shirts in the future. One thing that I used to love doing was going to metal band gigs. Whether it was in Glasgow, Barrowlands, I saw Bring Me the Horizon in January. And one thing I always loved to do was go to the merch stand and just look at all the cool T-shirts, buy the coolest looking design. So I really want a kind of cool metal band-esque design, whether it's a cartoon of me stomping the shit out of a city, with just like a slogan on the back, put Expect Carnage there or something like that. But just T-shirts, stickers. You talked about it earlier, the 8x10s and me holding the 2 titles in the ladder. There you go. But this won't be the first and last T-shirt, I'll tell you that. There'll be more. This is just the first run of them. But they will be available at Power Pro June 13th, next Thursday at Truth Nightclub. So, if you want to get your hands on it, they don't come like this. I cut this myself. you know, you can get a proper t-shirt. So
Fantastic, my friend. Indeed. Obviously, you know, with t-shirts as well, they really are the lifeblood of the wrestling industry, showcasing your favorite wrestler as well. But obviously, we've seen more interesting combinations. Obviously, CM Punk had a hockey jersey. Will Ospreay has a football t-shirt, and we've got the football Rangers shirt for Clash the Castle. I want to know, Hunter, if maybe a football team came to you and said, "Hey, we want to collaborate and make a Hunter Samson football t-shirt that you could sell," which football team would you want to collaborate with?
now this is a Soul Sessions exclusive, right? So there's going to be two answers here. The most generic answer would be the Scotland national team. You know,
Okay.
now that it's Germany, Scotland next Friday, same night as SmackDown, Scotland. But my actual club team, and it has been since I was like 9 years old, is Kilmarnock Football Club from the west of Scotland.
Okay.
And everyone's a little bit shocked by that because I'm a Fifer, but my whole family's from that area, from Galston and Ayrshire. So I'm a Kilmarnock boy through and through. So a Hunter Samson Kilmarnock Football Club collaboration would be, again, that would be another bucket list thing for me. And the blue and white stripes as well. That'd be class.
I mean, I'm excited for that. That would be absolutely fantastic.
I don't know if they'll do it. They might not give a shit about me. So
You never know. Never
I've
know
just been a
if
fan
it
for my whole. I've just been a fan for my whole life. It's nothing major, you know. At least you can do me a solid on this one.
They'll respect you, Hunter. You're the hardest man in Fife. That comes from
There
respect
we go.
and
There
amazement,
we
my
go.
friend. But obviously, with obviously Truth and Leaving, it's really the home of PWR. I know they have the second school in Livingston as well. But recently, you know, access to that has been more available now because obviously there's a new train line going to Leaving as well from Edinburgh, which is, you know, great to see. And you were there obviously with Daisy Jenkins and Frank Gallows, and I believe Kate Calloway as well, just showcasing PWR to the public.
The dream team.
The dream team indeed. I want to know, obviously, with that new train line going to Leaving and obviously, you know, the exposure PWR is getting, do you think specifically with this train line, there's opportunities to maybe run bigger venues for PWR?
Yeah. Just getting to Truth and Leaving has now been more accessible than ever. Because before this train line, it was just, you know, buses. Sometimes, you know, at that time of night, there wouldn't be a proper bus connection going back to Edinburgh or anywhere like that. Even as far as Dunfermline or things like that. So, yeah, it's only good things. I mean, Leaving High Street was mobbed last Sunday with it. I've never seen the High Street that busy. I thought we were just going to go promote the show, promote us as a school. You know, a few people will come up and there you go. But literally, there was so much interest. We sold so much tickets for it. There was people buzzing about the show. And I think, you know, Power Pro put up a thing recently on Instagram about ways that you can get to the venue, the train link, the times. You know, if you're concerned about getting home or anything like that, you know, all the train times are kind of mapped out for you. So yeah, I mean, I would love to take Power Pro shows out with Leaving. I would love to go, you know, Glasgow, Edinburgh, even branch out to places like, you know, Dundee or anything like that, up north, Aberdeen, you know, Power Pro on tour. There we go.
Hey, the Power Pro Tour led by Hunter Samson, I think it's got quite a bit of a ring to it, son. I mean, I think that'd be quite good.
Lead the charge.
Lead the charge, my friend, indeed. But obviously, you know, with wrestling as well, we love individuals, we love tag teams, but I think we also love a good stable as well. You know, I had a Scottish wrestler, Nick Justice, on, and he talked about him building a Justice squad. But I got to know from yourself, Hunter, if you could build, you know, a Hunter squad, maybe out with some PWR guys or some people within the Scottish wrestling scene, who would you like to add to, let's say, this 5-person Hunter squad?
5-person. Now you really put them on the spot, isn't it?
I'm trying, Dave. I'm trying.
The Hunter squad. Let's go. I'll keep it within us. Let's go for Frank Gallo. We've got to get a tag team in there.
Okay.
Got to get a tag team in there. Frank Gallo. Meat Factory. Meat Factory boys. There we go. And let's be diverse. It's 2024. Let's get a woman in there. It's got to be Daisy Jenkins, right?
Hey.
It's got to be the former hardest person in Fife. You know, all respect there. Feisty Fifer herself.
So who's last? Who's that last person you want to add in?
Come on, it's got to be Andy Roberts, isn't it?
Hey.
Scots, man.
Uh,
Some squad that.
that is some squad. I mean, I think even the Scots squad would tremble in fear at that kind of.
That's NWO-esque, but we won't have like 70 members that go under the radar that you don't know who they are.
All I know is when you bring War Games to PWR, that's going to be a sight to see with the Hunter Squad against any other kind of factions.
War Games would be absolutely fantastic to do. I'd love to do a War Games match. Absolutely. Sign me up.
Oh, that would be beautiful indeed, my friends. But obviously, with the UK scene as well, it is truly an exceptional scene, growing, developing every single day with new talent emerging and stars being made every single second. Hunter, I do want to ask, obviously, let's say 3 years down the line, and we're still doing this and we've got you back. How could you see the wrestling scene, especially within the UK, developing in the next 3 years? What some things would you love to happen, especially to UK wrestling?
I mean, we were on the WWE network with places like ICW and Progress and that. In terms of just getting back to big exposure, I mean, we had NXT UK as well. I would love to, there was talk of it. I don't know if it was going to go ahead, but like somewhere like NXT Europe would be huge. I mean, it's somewhere I would love to go. Getting back to those kind of things, having like a performance center, whether it's in London or, if you based it in like, Germany or France or wherever, having an NXT Europe would be 100% something I would love. Just a spotlight again, I think. It doesn't have to be WWE. It can be anywhere, but having the platform to showcase places like our shows on a massive platform, because the shows that we bring in Truth, they're always 100%. They're always amazing. I mean, you've been there. I mean, you know what they are. They've got like a special feel to them, and it's hard to describe if you're not there. There's a special feeling about those shows. Just places like Power Pro having maybe the spotlight that, say, ICW had under the WWE network. Would absolutely love that, and it would get people's names out there so much easier and so much better.
Aye, absolutely indeed, my friend. And to see any wrestler, obviously ones I've had on my show, but also in general, get exposure and get to do great things. And obviously there's someone I had, Tate Mayfair, is going to be making his AEW debut tonight as well. And just seeing that growth and opportunity for individuals, I personally love to see it. And I just think it just means that things are thriving so well for us. And I truly cannot wait to see what happens to the UK scene. And I know you'll be leading the hunt right on the line for whatever happens to the UK scene. Well, Hunter, my friend, it's been lovely to have you back here for your yearly round catch-up. But obviously, before we go and before we wrap up this little yearly reunion, one final question. Let's say you get signed to the WWE. You're part of that roster. You're part of the whole WWE universe. And let's say Cody Rhodes has been dethroned and you now have the WWE Universal Undisputed 24/7 Mountain Dew Light, whatever belt they want to call it now. You have that championship around your waist. You've got the whole Triple H point and everything.
Yes.
And they're bringing another WrestleMania to the UK. Let's say it's the second inauguration event of this. It's the second WrestleMania in the UK. And you're getting to defend your championship. Out of that current WWE roster that we have right now, is there any particular person you would want to defend your championship against in your home turf here in Scotland?
Drew McIntyre. Just being a Scottish guy, being someone that came up to the kind of similar ranks as, it's a given. I think Drew's been pivotal in leading the charge. I mean, he was the first Scottish guy ever signed to WWE. First ever Scottish champion, first ever UK World Champion. So just to go toe-to-toe with someone like that from that era, I think it's a no-brainer. I'll not say your favourite, CM Punk, because I know you would love that. But yeah, from the current WWE roster, 100% it'd be Drew McIntyre. Just been two Scottish guys beating lumps out of each other. Yeah.
I mean, hey, look, if you retire CM Punk, I'll be absolutely bathed in beer and absolutely having a full old time because, I love to see my guests of the show succeed with a championship. So, I mean, Hey,
Maybe it'll maybe happen in the Hell in a Cell. Maybe that'll be the ladder match where I'm holding the 2 titles out. Maybe that's who'll be under the ladder. That's the corpse that will be under the ladder. Are you going to the show next Thursday? Will I see you there?
Hopefully, all things plan out, and I will be aging one up there. It will be my birthday as well on June 13th.
Your birthday? What better present than to come and see us?
Hey, I like to celebrate, and I love to see the hunter conclude his hunt. But obviously, Hunter Samson, my friend, it's been a pleasure to have you back here in the Soul Sessions. But obviously, we mentioned the PW show happening on June 13th. So obviously, to our viewers who may be enticed and want to see what's going on with Power Pro Wrestling, how can they get tickets for this show?
The ticket link is on Power Pro socials. Whenever this goes out, I don't know if you want to put the link in the bio. If you go on my Instagram, I'm promoting it as well. Power Pro Facebook, there'll be a link there for the tickets. Go into any kind of promo that's been cut. The ticket link will be there. But yeah, next Thursday, June 13th, Power Pro, I will be there. Don't necessarily know what I'll be doing or who I'll be hunting, but it'll be someone and I will be there. So, you can keep your eyes peeled for that one. And if you're there, you're going to see it and you're going to expect the biggest fireworks. Expect the carnage. Because it will come. It will come.
Okay. I do love a bit of carnage and insanity that the wee old Scots are known for, indeed. And obviously, viewers, I will include a link to Hunter Samson's Instagram so you can see his journey and his hunts. And as well, I will include a link to Power Pro Wrestling as well, where you can check out their Instagram, see the school, see what things happen there, and obviously to get tickets for their upcoming show, especially on June 13th and beyond. Well, viewers, thank you very much for tuning in for another episode of the show session. So you can finish your pint, put your chair away, and thank you as always for tuning in for another episode of the sessions.